We've had a chance to check out Sonic Superstars, the newly announced game at Summer Game Fest. Andy is there, he's seen it. Andy, tell me all about Sonic Superstars.
So Sonic Superstars is the next kind of 2D Sonic game. So Sega really love at the moment jumping between these two different styles of Sonic. I mean, obviously they had a bit of an identity crisis with the franchise, you know, kind of in the noughties, kind of working out what Sonic is, and the conclusion they come to in recent years is that it's different things to different people. I mean, the big 3D Sonic games like Sonic Frontiers last year, it kind of appeals to a younger audience, but then stuff like Sonic Mania, which is like very retro and very much like how we remember Sonic from when we were kids, it is also another thing they like to do. So Sonic Superstars is a 2D Sonic game, but it's 3D graphics. It's not like in the pixel style, 16-bit pixel style of Sonic Mania. So I believe, someone will probably correct me on this, but I believe the last time they attempted this was Sonic the Hedgehog 4 on the 360 and PS3 days, which was a quite poorly received game. Kind of did a lot of things that fans weren't happy with. So in comparison, picking up this game, it seemed to right a lot of the wrongs of that title. I mean, first of all, it feels and plays exactly like I remember classic Sonic games, which is something that Sega have put a lot of emphasis on recently, obviously bringing in the developers who kind of like ported the original Sonic games to modern platforms to make Sonic Mania. Like that was a game that was obsessed with authenticity, and it does very much feel like those original games, and Sega's kind of like said as much in its press release, like an authentic feeling. So I'm guessing that that's something they were really going for, and it looks great. I mean, I don't think static images really do it any justice, but playing it on a big 4K screen, with lots of lush colours and kind of animation full of personality, it really looks great.
Did you get the impression that this could have been called Sonic the Hedgehog 5? Like, is it in that lineage?
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually thinking this at the time. I don't know why they've kind of named it like a spin-off, because it does feel like a continuation of that lineage. So they've got Sonic's original character designer back to kind of do a bit of work on this game. They've said it's all original levels. I don't know why the trailer that was set up to kind of suggest almost that it was a remake, because it's not. It's all new original levels. The big hook this time is it's very much like New Super Mario Brothers Wii, where you can play as 4 players, local co-op on this one. I didn't get to try it out, unfortunately, but I can't imagine that's going to be the huge selling point. That's more of a bonus for fans. But the most pleasing thing about it, to be honest, was just how imaginative it was. I mean, I got to play 2 levels, and there was 2 acts in each. And it reminded me very much of Mania in that respect as well. But it wasn't just a basic retread of those original games. They were trying to introduce original ideas. Like in one of the levels, you had to collect butterflies to kind of like to have visibility on the area. Like it's dark level, so you'd have like a little spotlight around you, so that you could kind of see what's going on. There seems to be a lot of new mechanics introduced in the levels. There's lots of kind of different spins on speed boosts, and there's like kind of like half pipes that you can run up along as you're going sideways, like by pressing up and down on the D-pad. There were like these like warp portals that would kind of send you into these like free fall sequences where you could pick up some coins. And also I got to try out one of the special stages by finding these kind of whatever the giant rings are called. I can't remember. And there seems to be a couple of different takes on special stages this time. Like one of them was like swinging on these like hook shotting to these grapple points to kind of catch an emerald. But then once you get an emerald, it gives you a different power. So there's like 7 or 8 different powers in the game, and you unlock them by collecting a Chaos Emerald relevant to that, and then you can activate them during gameplay. So I got one that was allowed me to run up waterfalls. So you can imagine that gives you a load more kind of exploration opportunities when you're playing the game. That if you find a waterfall, you can turn this on and kind of run up it. And on that point, actually, that was another thing that reminded me of Sonic Mania, was that the levels are really vertical, really, really big. Like you can properly explore them. And that's something that kind of fans of the classic games took issues with some of Sega's attempts in the past. One final thing I should say as well is that the boss fights, were great as well. Like they were doing stuff that, okay, some of them were retreads, but they'd have like a little spin. Like there was a Robotnik encounter where he would have like some I can't remember, like maybe like he was in a big mech and you blow it up and you think, well, that's done, but then he'd bring up and get some big arms, and then you'd fight him again. But the best one was there was a sequence where there's like a boss that kind of fires these grapple hooks, and you need to use them to kind of like climb up and get to it, and then kind of hit him with his own grapple hook. Which was something that I didn't really like see before in a previous Sonic game. So yeah, overall, it's. I mean, I'm probably making it sound wonderful, but it's obviously I'm cautiously optimistic with anything to do with Sonic the Hedgehog because we've all been burnt in the past. But based on 2-level demos, I thought it was really good.
Excellent. It's scheduled for this fall. Do you get the sense that Sega knows what it's doing with Sonic again? It seems like it's on a bit firmer footing these days.
Yeah, I do. I do think they I think the fact that they've acknowledged and split the series into 2 effectively, I think is acknowledgement of, of what they've learned in the recent past. They're not trying to make games that please everyone. In the past, they would literally be making 2 games in one, right, for a long time.
Yeah.
Like Sonic Unleashed, where it's like, oh, you've got the werewolf levels, and then you've got the more traditional levels. And even Sonic Generations, literally, it would be, here's a 3D level, here's a 2D level. They are acknowledging now that they are, kind of making games to appeal to 2 different audiences. And that's kind of paid off in dividends in the last couple of years, right? Because Sonic Frontiers is the best 3D game in ages. Sonic Mania is easily the best 2D game in ages, and this could be another great one.
Excellent. Well, I'm sure we'll hear more about it as we approach fall. Andy, go and see what else you can find over at Jeff Keighley's Festival of Delights, and we'll speak to you soon.